what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another live episode of the Fantasy Fellowshow. My name is Kyle. Tonight, it's a Thursday night hangout. I think I'm going to be rocking this one solo. So what we'll do is we got only 2 games tonight. It's a really quiet Thursday night. So we'll pop into the Lakers and the Sixers. And then we'll also take a peek at some of the things that happened last night. There was a lot of game action last night. We'll look at some players to think about on the waiver wire. And any questions that you guys got in the chat room, fill them up. I'm going to hop into a screen share here. And I got to say, if you guys are new to the Fantasy Fellowship, help us get to 400 subscribers. We are so close. It's a big milestone, and then we'll be moving on to the 500. So for just a game recap real quick, I got this game going on in the corner here in my TV, and Anthony Davis left this game a little bit ago. I don't know if I can play this for you guys, if this will work.
On the other end, grabbed his right knee, but appears to be okay.
Davis goes for the dunk over Embiid. He gets it, and what happened was he landed kind of awkwardly on his right wrist. Here's Davis getting the ball. He dunks, and then he uses one of his hands to brace his fall. So we're going to see what happens there. He did run back to the locker room, so we'll see if he can return. But dang it, we just got him back. So we'll see. We'll take a peek at this schedule grid later as well. So recap here, end of one quarter, Sixers up 32-22. They went on a nice little run at the end. There was some 3-point scoring for the box score here. The Sixers, let's see. Nothing really too crazy here. Joel Embiid got 8 points, 4 rebounds. Tyrese Maxey's got 5 assists in one quarter. That's pretty impressive. 4 points, 5 assists for him. You have 2 assists, 7 points for Tobias. Matisse Thybulle with nothing. And then Korkmaz here, 2 points. I believe Niang got in there too. He did get in there, so I don't know what's up with this box score. I saw Niang hit a 3. And then as far as the Lakers, I mean, Davis was their entire offense until he got hurt. 5 of 8 from the field goal, 10 total points here. LeBron not playing tonight, so you see Westbrook 2 points on 3 shots. Malik Monk 2 points on 5 shots, so he's not shooting the ball well. So we'll see if they can get Anthony Davis back. Dwight Howard did come in lieu of some things, so we'll see what happens. Not the greatest first quarter here for the Lakers. I'm watching it now. Dwight Howard's still in. Andre Drummond's now in for the Sixers. So anyways, let's take a peek at some things that I wanted to look at. So last night, the Atlanta Hawks got Bogdan Bogdanović back last night. And if we just filter, I guess, the last 7 days, I just want to hit minutes. Bogdan hopped right in. Let's actually, let me see if I can find this for us. Let's find last night's box score. So the Atlanta Hawks, can't remember who they played, but I do think there's some potential for some players to be available. So Kings Hawks last night, let's take a look at this box score. Bogdanović came off the bench. Starting, you had John Collins, Deandre Hunter, only 17 minutes for Hunter, which is pretty low. Capella, 21 minutes. Trae Young, 25. Herder, 19. They played a lot of bench in this one. So it looked like this game was kind of out of hand here. That the Atlanta scored 46 points in the second quarter. Sacramento only 17. So this was kind of on coast. Let me pause that. But Bogdan comes in, 23 minutes, goes 6 of 11 shooting, 3 of 8 from 3, added 7 assists. So he shot the ball well, and he played just good team basketball. And Lou Williams got some minutes. Delon Wright got some minutes. You see some minutes for Gallinari as well. So how do we see this Atlanta Hawks minutes going forward? I mean, there's still a lot of guys here that are really low owned. Over the last 7 days, let's see here. I mean, DeAndre Hunter, only 18.7% rostered. Let's just click into his numbers real quick. This is the guy that I think needs to be rostered. He didn't play a lot last night. Let's see. He did have some lower back discomfort, so that might explain the minutes. But otherwise, he had been playing at 34, 35, 34 minutes per clip. A bunch of games with 20 plus real points, and then the rebounding, assisting, and the steals and the blocks are all there. So this is a player that maybe just got a night off kind of thing last night. Check out your waiver wire, see if he's available for you guys. Kevin Herder, not really playing the best. He's only averaging about 20 points for fantasy, but his minutes are steady. I think if you're playing in a 10 or 12-man league, you could add Kevin Huerter. Again, he's going to be a guy that probably is going to hop on and off the waiver wires a lot. But if you just hold on to him, he's going to be, about 20 fantasy points per game. And then just a sneak peek next week, the Hawks. They play 4 games. They're going to play on Monday, and then they have a 2-day rest, but then they're going to get 3 games in the final 4 days, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday and Sunday. So this is #basketball. If you guys just type in #basketball, hit the advanced schedule grid here, and that's going to show you, all the weeks. So you click on week 16, and you can look at that there. A really useful tool. You can see all the teams that are playing 4 games. The Jazz only play 2 games next week, so you want to avoid them. But a bunch of teams with 4, a handful with 3. Try picking up guys with 4 games for sure. But back to the Hawks. I mean, I think Hunter, Huerter need to be owned in 10 and 12-man leagues. Delon Wright's interesting. This is a guy that's been getting a good amount of minutes the last few nights here. 28, 20, and 28. His scoring is not really elite, but the rebounding, assisting, and the steals. I think if you play in a league where you need steals, this is a guy that you can, first of all, start him in 2 positions, the point guard and the shooting guard. And then he's good for a couple steals per game. He's got a streak here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight games with a steal, putting up some decent fantasy numbers. So if you need some help in category leagues, Delon Wright could be a guy for you. John Collins, high rostered. Again, Delon Wright, only 6.3% rostered. And then this brings me back to Bogdan, who, I just picked him up right before the show started. I wanted to get him on my team. The Hawks do play tomorrow night and Sunday, I believe. And then again, the 4-game week coming up for the Hawks. I think that's going to be some big points here. And Bogdan, again, last night in just 23 minutes, puts up 33 fantasy points before his little, missing of time. He was playing good ball, a 17-point game, a 28, a 35, and a 23. I think I would take those if I can get those. So that's a player you want to be ahead of. Bogdan, only 51% rostered. Let's go ahead and look here. Gallinari, not really a guy I trust, but playing well the last 4 or 5 games. You see 18 points, 26, 22, 21, 23, 27. So the 18 points last night, but other than that, he did have 5 games in a row over 20 fantasy points. The minutes kind of trending downward, but that's kind of on par with his season average. So this is a guy that's going to get you points. He's going to get you rebounds, not too much in the steals and the blocks, but he'll get you points and rebounds for sure. He could be, good, especially for next week, a guy that's going to get 4 games. Take a look at some of these guys on the Hawks here. And then the last one, and this is Okongwu, and he's playing good ball. I don't know how much longer it's going to last. A lot of this was due to the Clint Capella IR for a little bit there with COVID, but just someone to keep in mind on. If anything happens to Capella or John Collins, Okongwu looked like he filled in pretty nicely. And then Lou Williams, still playing decently. If you needed someone for a game or 2, he could be fine. But I do like the Hawks. They are a very deep team right now. And playing a lot of minutes for a lot of guys. So that's kind of interesting. And then while we're here, I did want to touch in on the Kings. Still no De'Aaron Fox, but it looks like last night they gave Daveon Mitchell the start. He played 31 minutes. They're still benching Buddy Hield. He's coming off the bench and getting 30 minutes, which is still quite a bit. But everything else here, Marvin Bagley had a rough game, 22 minutes. 4 of 8 shooting's fine, but he just didn't really get anything else going on the glass. Only 4 boards, 1 assist, 9 points. Harrison Barnes had a good day shooting, 11 of 12 from the free throw line, 3 of 5 from the 3. Big game for Mitchell. I actually want to go look at the Kings here now. And let's look this up. So Sacramento, where are the Kings? Did I miss them? So this is a team that's got 4 games next week, starting on Monday. They get a night off on Tuesday, but they get 3 games in 4 days to start the week. So Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. If you wanted to add some of these guys here, let's actually go take a peek at the Sacramento Kings and see who's maybe rosterable here. So Daveon Mitchell, I know De'Aaron Fox is coming back. Stu, let me actually click into him and see what the rules. So he's been ruled out. So there's a chance that Fox could be back. If he's not back yet, I do think Mitchell's an interesting guy. He's been kind of boom bust, but again, he's getting minutes. He's getting good minutes. He could be a guy that has an appearance later in their waiver wires for sure. This one's interesting. So Terence Davis, we talked about him last week on the waiver wire show, underwent an MRI on Wednesday that revealed a right wrist ECU tendon injury. So this is interesting. This is going to open up minutes, I guess, for a guy like Daveon Mitchell. If we look at this box score real quick, I mean, it looks like Mo Harkless here was the guy, the 7th man off the bench here with minutes. You're going to plug in a De'Aaron Fox, and a lot of these minutes, I think, could go towards, I guess, Hield, Mitchell, and Fox. You're looking at probably a 7-man rotation, which is interesting. So keep an eye on that. But we'll keep it moving here. I do want to kind of look at some other teams that do have 4 games next week. So I guess starting with the first 3 or 4 games of the week, let's see here. I'm looking for teams that play like 3. Well, actually, the Raptors are interesting. So the Raptors play 4 games in 5 days: Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So you could pick up a Raptor and you're going to get a ton of minutes from these guys. So let's actually go take a peek at the Toronto Raptors. So what's up with Fred VanVleet? I saw he missed the last couple games. So he's got a knee injury. We'll be silent for the second game. So Malachi Flynn and Delano Bantam have been getting minutes. So, I mean, Malachi Flynn hasn't been playing great. I mean, he did get 26 minutes the other night. Not sure what happened last night against Chicago. But what sucks is most of these guys for the Raptors are high-owned. The ones that have a chance to be rostered, Gary Trent Jr., only 61% rostered. He's been going off for 2 straight games, 32 points and 32 points in back-to-back games. Not really a guy that you can rely on for rebounds, assists, steals, or blocks, but he does chip in every now and then, but he's purely a scoring threat. And again, 4 games in 5 days, you got to look at Gary Trent for sure. And then Chris Boucher, I know he's been kind of herky-jerky for most of the season, but he's starting to play better. I think, again, just 4 games in 5 days, you can punch in Trent or Boucher or even Achiuwa, Precious Achiuwa. I might actually have to – he's been on and off my teams a lot. I might actually have to get him back on my team for 4 out of 5 games. You know, you're going to expect hopefully a couple bangers from him and then maybe some of these low duds here. But Achiuwa is a guy who is he's under 5% rostered. And this is the guy that I think, again, with 4 games next week in 5 days, like if he just gets you 80 points, that's about 20 points per game. You know, 4 games, that's doable. So go ahead and check him out. And then again, you can always move on later in the week. So these guys for the Raptors are going to be very valuable in terms of minutes. Again, Trent, Boucher, Achiuwa, these are guys that I think could be really useful. But Delano Bantam, here's a guy who is getting some consistency here. 24 minutes, 17 and 12, not consistent there, but the fantasy production looks consistent. Good scorer, good rebounder, good assist man, and good on defense. 2 steals in a couple games and 3 blocks. So interesting guy here. He might be worth an ad for the 4-game stretch. Again, I mean, if you get 80 points in 5 days from one of these guys, I mean, that's something to be excited about. So check out the Raptors. Again, 4 games in 5 days. That's a great schedule. And then I guess you could look at some other teams here that do have, 2 games in 3 days. You know, that's Oklahoma on Monday and Wednesday. You got the Pelicans going back-to-back on a Monday, Tuesday. Look at this hashtag basketball grid and see what you guys can find here for trends. Miami Heat have back-to-back games, and they got 3 games in 4 days. That's kind of interesting. So I think sometimes it's advantageous to load up on some of these guys earlier in the week, and then you come back in the later half of the week, and then you get the Hawks. You get the 3 out of 4 games from the Hawks. You got the Bulls with 3 out of 4. Let's go to actually take a peek at the Bulls, because there's a bunch of guys there that I've been looking at for fantasy that could be useful for you guys. So again, the Bulls, they play 1 game next Tuesday, but then Thursday, Friday, and Sunday of next week. So you're going to get 4 games, but you're looking at a good, strong finish from these Chicago players. And some of these guys they're available. Let me actually hit the average points per game. So just in the last 7 days, this is the best scorers on the team. Caruso's out, but Ayo Dosunmu is a guy here who you want to put on your radar. He has played pretty well in the absence of Lonzo Ball. He's not exactly a point guard, more of a shooting guy, but Again, over the last 2 weeks, he's been playing some good ball. He's got some highs here of 38 and 48 fantasy points. He did put up 40 twice. And as far as he goes, like, he doesn't have to be a hot scorer. He's still going to put up rebounds, assists. He's good for some steals and some blocks as well. He's just an athletic shooting guard. And he doesn't really rely on all of his scoring. I guess when he does score, he does get a big game. So only 15% rostered. Ao Dosumu, definitely a guy you want to check out. And then Kobe White. Only about 23% rostered. 4 games next week, guys. And so it was weird against Toronto. They actually brought him in off the bench. He didn't get the start. They kind of went with a bigger lineup in this one. He didn't play his greatest, only 13.25 fantasy points. But I think that's kind of a floor for him. I would expect him to kind of stay around 25, 30 minutes per game and somewhere end up, just over 20-some fantasy points. So on the season, he's averaging about 20 points per game. Again, 4 games next week. I think you got to take those 80 points from a guy like Kobe White. But this was who actually was inserted in the starting lineup for Kobe White. And this is Javonte Green last night. He came in 24 minutes, 12 points, 6 boards, 1 assist, good for 21.75 points. So if Javonte is going to continue to start and get about 24, 25 minutes per game, I'm interested. This is a fringe roster guy in a 10 or a 12-man league. Basically, I want someone, if I'm going to add someone for a game or just add him in my lineup, like, I want him to at least hit 20 fantasy points per game. So Javonte Green, someone that you want to put on your radars here. And that's pretty much it from Chicago. Still don't know what's going on with Lonzo. Have we gotten an update on Mr. Ball? So 4 to 6 weeks of recovery time. I mean, that's going to put us out. This is from 2 days ago. So that puts him out the entire month of February, maybe back at the end of March, maybe if we're lucky for April. So no Lonzo Ball for the next 2 months. I think that's fair to say. And especially with Caruso out now, you're looking at Ao Dosumu and Kobe White probably as must roster players in 10 and 12-man leagues. I think that 8-man league is kind of a fringe, but I do like Dosumu. I do like Kobe White. These guys are getting more than 20 fantasy points per game lately. So check out your Bulls. Let's see if there's anybody else that makes sense here. The Nets, I don't really care about the Nets secondary players outside of Harden and Kyrie, of course. Let me see if any other things stick out here. Oklahoma City is interesting. They do have 4 games in 6 days. That could be advantageous for us. Let's go ahead and click on the Oklahoma. Let's take a peek here. I like to try to just look into teams that I haven't looked at in a while. So let's take a peek here. First of all, SGA guys, like let's just tip our captain. He's been a beast. I know it's not fun for Oklahoma City this year, but they got some stuff to be excited about. You got Josh Giddey playing really well. Still don't know why Giddey's only 60% rostered. This is a player that needs to be owned. Like, he's a stud. This guy's going to be, I think, a future all-star at some point. I don't know if he's going to ever be able to do it with SGA there, but I really like what he's doing. And basically, I mean, the only player that people are rostering on this team is SGA. After that, it looks like Luguentz Dort is a fringe guy here. So it's all SGA and it's all Giddey. But I do think Dort, only 22% rostered. He's getting the minutes. He's getting the minutes, which is important. He did have a couple bad games in a row, a 16, a 3, and 11. Like, these are gross. But he did bounce back, 31.5 the other night against Chicago. He had been playing well up until that game streak. And then just on the season, he's averaging almost 25 points per game on the season. So this is probably something that you want to, bank on him getting back into his averages. Only 22% rostered. And again, he gets 4 games in 6 days next week, guys. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, you can hold on to him and get rid of him and try to add someone else for Sunday. So just out of that slot alone, you're going to get 5 games in 7 days. So check out Mr. Dort here. Outside of that, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, only 1% rostered, but in 10 and 12-man leagues, this is looking pretty good here. He did have a bad game against Cleveland, only 9 points, but when you look around that, 26, 35, 20, and another 20, another 21. So, I mean, 5 out of his last 6 games have been very, very good for fantasy. And the minutes, very consistent. This is looking pretty good here. So Jeremiah Robinson Earl, if you're playing in a 12-man league, or anything bigger than that, like Robinson Earl, probably a guy you want to get on your rosters. Kendrick Williams, we dabbled with him a little bit last year. I don't see too much upside here, but playing decently. I mean, if you needed someone for a back-to-back or something like that, he's playing good. He's averaging 17.5 on the season, but he's getting about 18, 19 points over the last 2 games. So check out some of these guys. And I don't know. It's interesting squad here. Don't really see anything else too much for fantasy. So, but anyways, I think that's going to do it for tonight's video. I'm going to get back to watching some of these. We got the Lakers and the Sixers on right now, so I'm going to get back to that. Check out the advanced schedule grid. I might even pop that into. Let me pop that into the. Can I pop that into the comments real quick here? I'll pop that into the comments there for you guys if you want to check out #basketball advanced schedule grid. And that's going to do it for tonight's video. Thank you guys for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy some of the basketball. I'm going to actually be on Sunday. I'm going to be going to the Bucks Nuggets game. So I'm excited about that on Sunday. I'll be there with Drake as well. So we'll have some of that stuff to talk to you guys about. But anyways, take it easy. Have a good weekend. We'll see you guys later. Peace.